Hello, welcome to another edition of Training at the Dig Agency. My name is Joe Bushalaki. I am the program director and the coach of the face-to-face career program at the Dig Agency. The face-to-face career program is the face-to-face free lead program where we give you fresh, exclusive leads to run, no charge to you. You just go out there, you sell your deals, you make money, and we keep moving along. So in this video, I'm going to talk about setting appointments over the phone, calling our leads, our Facebook leads. Our primary strategy in our program is to door knock. Our most effective weapon to gain business in this industry as a face-to-face agent is still door knocking, but there is a place for setting appointments by phone. So I'm going to dive into that. I'm not only going to talk about setting appointments and handling objections, I'm also going to talk about minimizing no-shows, because that's a big issue with a lot of us. If you ever ran face-to-face final expense appointments, you know no-shows, they're horrible. You drive somewhere and nobody's there, and it's frustrating. It's going to happen, but we can minimize it. So let's pull up the screen and we'll get this going. Okay. All right. So the actual pitch goes like this. Hey, Mrs. Jones, my name is Joe Bushalaki. I'm calling about the information you requested on Facebook on the new state-regulated final expense program. She put your favorite hobby is fishing, and I'm just here because it's my job to deliver the information you requested. I can drop by tomorrow at 10 o'clock, or would 2 o'clock be better for you? When the prospect answers the phone, let's say the lead card says whatever, Mrs. Jones, Mary Jones. If a lady answers the phone, just go right into the pitch. Assume that is the prospect. Do not say, hey, this is Mary, or is this Mrs. Jones? Because then you sound like a telemarketer, and it gives them room to say, well, who's this? Who's calling? Or they might just hang up on you because they have no idea who you are. So as soon as the person answers the phone, if it's a female that filled out the lead card and a female answers, then go right into it, and vice versa. We want to just roll through the pitch, because maybe they hear a couple of things and then they realize, oh yeah, this is the thing that I filled out. Now, as far as your energy level on the phone, there's two thoughts to this whole thing. You can be overly enthusiastic if you want, or you can be a little bit more clinical. Either way, as opposed to door knocking, where we want to kind of find a middle ground of bottled enthusiasm and maybe being a little clinical, kind of just making it not a big deal. But over the phone, hey man, you can pick whichever way you want to go. I would say for me, I think I'm a little bit in the middle. I think anywhere you want to be in the spectrum is okay. So it's up to you. What's going to be effective and what fits your character and personality? Now, let's go into handling objections. And then we'll get into what happens when someone actually sets an appointment and minimizing no-shows. So you're going to get the typical objections. I don't remember filling out the form. I thought I was getting something mailed to me. Oh, I'm just not interested. I already have life insurance. I'm busy, things like that. So you got to remember, objections are knee-jerk reactions. You don't want to buy into them. That's whether you're at the door or you're setting appointments over the phone. Just know when they're giving you objections, knee-jerk reaction, they just got surprised. There's not a lot of logic going on. So whatever they say, we just want to treat it like just water rolling off our back or something. You know what I mean? So if they say, I'm not interested, we just say, hey, no problem. All I need is 5 minutes to show you how the program works. Whatever you do with it is up to you, Mrs. Jones. Would 10 o'clock or 2 o'clock tomorrow be better for you? If they say they have life insurance, pretty much the same rebuttal. That's perfectly fine, Mr. Prospect. All I need is 5 minutes to show you how the program works, and whatever you do with it is entirely up to you. Would tomorrow at 10 o'clock or would tomorrow at 2 o'clock be better for you? So this is a good example of where we don't want to buy into this and make it a conversation. If someone says over the phone, or at the door for that matter, that they have life insurance. Don't get into a conversation. Don't start asking, okay, what's the company? Do you have term or whole life? Don't get into any of that. All we're basically saying with every single objection that they give us, we're just saying, hey, no problem. Just takes a few minutes. Whatever you do with it's up to you. Would 2 o'clock or would 4 o'clock be better? Any objection is, that's okay. Yeah, that's no problem. Yeah, that's perfectly fine. And one thing that is really good to practice with objections is your voice inflection. When you do the pitch, you might be kind of high energy, just putting it out there. But when you do the rebuttal, you should practice some voice inflection. So let's go back to, let's do the objection. I thought I was getting something mailed. So they go, I thought I was getting something mailed. And I say, that's okay, Mr. Prospect. I just need to show you, I need a few minutes to show you how these plans work. And whatever you do with the information is totally up to you. Would 2 o'clock or would 4 o'clock be better? I'm going to try that one again. I kind of fumbled on that one. So I thought I was getting something in the mail. That's okay. It's just my job to show you how these plans work, Mr. Jones. I just need 5 minutes. Whatever you do with it's up to you. Would 2 o'clock or would 4 o'clock be better for you? So you notice how I kind of make my voice go down a little bit. I want to minimize objections. I want to dismantle like any type of like anxiety or any type of just static going on. Because when someone objects, they're expecting salespeople and telemarketers to like start wanting to combat with them and argue. So we don't want to be like that. We just want to be like, hey, no problem. I just need a few minutes to show you how the program works, Mr. Jones. Whatever you do with it, that's entirely up to you. Would 2 o'clock or would 4 o'clock be better? Now, remember, through all of this, we need to be smiling, everybody. Smile when you're talking. They can hear your smile over the phone. Okay, now, what if someone agrees to an appointment? Okay, great. Well, I will tell you, there is a science that we teach to do our very best to make the appointment solid and to minimize no-shows. So they agree to 10 a.m. They say 10 a.m. works. Okay, great. Just to confirm, your address is 123 First Street in whatever, California, 9537, right? And they say yes. Okay. Next, ask them, is there a unit number or a space number? So, okay, remember everybody, when someone agrees to an appointment, you still have to have your guard up, because especially after the pandemic, people are used to having a lot more phone appointments and doing business over the phone. So when they agree to a time up front, they might be automatically assuming that this is going to be a phone appointment. But things are going to get real once you start naming off their address. And once you say, is there a unit number or a space number, or is it a house? That's where you got to watch out. You got to be ready to rebuttal, because they might say, oh, you know what? I thought this was a phone appointment. You're coming to my house? And what you say is, you just say, yeah, it's just my plan. It's just my job to show you how the plans work. I just need a few minutes. Whatever you do with it's up to you tomorrow, Mrs. Jones. And then go to the next part. And you say, perfect. And is this information for you only or your spouse as well? So after they agree to an appointment, if they give you a small objection like that, you want to handle it. And the close is just going to the next part of the script. So let's kind of role play that out. So you said their address, and then they say, yeah, that's my address. And you say, is there a unit number, or is there a space number, or is it a house? And they go, what? Oh, you're coming over? I thought this was a phone appointment. Yeah, Mrs. Jones, it's just my job to show how these plans work in person. It takes 5 minutes. Whatever you do with it's up to you tomorrow. So is this information for you only or your spouse as well, Mrs. Jones? And you just keep going down the list. So why do we ask, is this information for you only or your spouse as well? Because we do not want to pitch one-leggers. As face-to-face agents, we do not pitch one-leggers. We want we want the married couple to be there. So if they, and this is a less intrusive way of just flat out asking, are you married or not? You talk to the wrong person and you say, okay, are you married or single? They might be like, why are you asking me that? So this is a smooth way to say, perfect. And is this information for you only or your spouse as well? And typically, if they're not married, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm not married, or oh yeah, I'm a widower, or oh yeah, I'm a widower, but whatever they say, oh yeah, I'm divorced. Now, if they say, yes, this information is for both of us, or you are getting the impression that they are married, maybe because they'll say little slick things like, oh, well, this information is only going to be for me right now. And you might have to ask a further question. Oh, okay, so you're married, but the information's for you. And whatever they say, once you find out they're married, you want to say, okay, and both of you will be there tomorrow at 10 o'clock, or should I stop by a little bit later around 4 or 6 when both of you are home? Do not set one-leggers. Do not set one-leggers. I'll tell you straight up, if somebody insists on setting a one-legger, I insist on not setting an appointment. I ain't coming over. I have to have both of you there. And you should too. You need to value your time, guys. Okay. So you get through that, and 10 a.m. is fine for either the single person or the married couple. Okay. This right here, this next part is going to greatly minimize no-shows. Do not skip this part. This is what it is. And coming from the nearest highway or main street, what is the best way to get to your place? And have them give you directions. I get it. We live in a world. Do we really need directions? If we have somebody's address, we can use GPS. And yeah, I get it. If you're like in a ruralish area or whatever, GPS isn't always right, but we don't really need it. So are we asking for directions because we need directions? No. We're asking for directions so that they will remember the appointment. You got to understand, these people are getting blown up on the phone, guys. They're saying yes and no to a bunch of stuff. But if they give you directions, not only are they going to remember this appointment a little more, but they're going to take more ownership of the appointment because they are giving you directions to literally come up to their front door. You know what I mean? So make sure you ask for directions. I will tell you, I think out of everything we're talking about, I think that is probably the biggest thing that will minimize no-shows is asking for directions. Do it. And after they do that, you say, perfect. Okay, one more thing. Grab a paper and pen. I'm going to give you a little bit more information. And then they go take a few seconds and they get a pen and paper and they're ready. And you say, okay, I want to give you my name. Give them your full name. And then tell them to write down the date and time. So yeah, so here's my full name. My first name is Joe, J-O-E. My last name is Bushalaki. That's B Bravo, U S like Sam, A-L-A-C-C-H-I, Joe Bushalaki. And also write down the date and time. So we're going to meet tomorrow. Tomorrow is Wednesday, June 12th at 10 a.m. Now, why do we do that? Because I mean, you know, a lot of seniors legit, it's not like they all have Alzheimer's or dementia or something, but a lot of them have senior moments and they forget. And if you have it all written down, once again, they're taking ownership of everything. Not only are they having to just think about when you're coming over, but now it's imprinted on paper. And, you know, if you don't have them write it down, they might legitimately wake up the next day and say, oh, I got that guy coming over about the state regulated final expense programs. I can't remember who it was. Did he say he's coming over at 10? Or you say he's coming over at 2. Oh, I can't remember. But if they wrote it down, they can obviously refer to that. And then, very important, say this. Please expect me between 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. Between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m., I have a lot of people to talk to, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 o'clock. It looks like on the script, we have this is an edit. This is the verbiage as if like someone is setting appointments for an insurance person. But if you're setting them yourself, you just say, hey, please expect me between 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. to arrive. I got a lot of people to talk to, and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 in the morning. All right, talk to you then. Bye-bye. Give yourself an hour window. You know, for the most part, we're dealing with retirees, people that are pretty flexible in their schedule. You want to do 10, you want to give an hour window. Why do you do that? Because if you're setting multiple appointments, let's say you set, 7, 8, 9, 10 appointments in the day, give yourself an hour window. And you know what's going to happen? It's all going to work out because Maybe you get into a home and you spend a lot of time and you sell a deal. Now you're an hour late to an appointment and you go to your next appointment, but then they no show. And now it's your next appointment, you'll be on time because you give an hour window. You know what I mean? Or if you spend a lot of time and the person's waiting for you at the 12 o'clock appointment, well, you said, give me between 12 and 1 to arrive. And you show up at 1 p.m. or maybe even a little bit later, but they're okay with it because you prepped them up. People are going to be okay with things if you give them a little bit of notice ahead of time. So make sure, guys, that if you set an appointment for 10 a.m., don't say you're going to just be there right at 10 a.m. on the spot. And I think it's been traditionally a standard to give a 30-minute window. I would give an hour window. So big takeaways. Hey, when it comes to energy and enthusiasm, pick where you want to be. You can be overly enthusiastic on the phone, or you can be more clinical about it. When you're handling, and when they answer the phone, if you think the prospect answered the phone, then just start pitching. Don't ask, hey, is this Mrs. Jones? Is this Mr. Jones? Just go right into it. When handling objections, no big deal. Use some good voice inflection. We don't want to be conflicted. They expect us to conflict with them when they object. So when they say, no, I thought you were going to mail something to me. Hey, that's no problem. It's my job to show these plans. All I need is a few minutes. What you do with it's up to you, Mrs. Jones. Would 10 o'clock or would 2 o'clock be better? And make sure to always be closing, guys. When you say, don't just say a rebuttal and not close. We always have to close. And to minimize no-shows, make sure that you are asking for directions. That's really big. Make sure you're having people write down your name and the date and time of the appointment. Make sure you're not pitching one-leggers. Don't set one-leggers. Don't pitch one-leggers, but don't set one-leggers, okay? All right. If you want to be a part of the program that we do at the Dig Agency, the face-to-face career program where we give you fresh exclusive leads, please go to davidduford.com. That's davidduford.com. Click apply. When you're doing the application, if you want to train with me, then put down that you want to sell final expense face-to-face and that you want free leads. Okay, until next time, guys, God bless.